gorgeous? Does that funk have you feeling stuck? Have you questioning your purpose, or even yet having you asking if your best years are behind you? Girl, you have zero obligation to stay in that funk. This podcast is for women who want to get the funk out of here, who want to play bigger, ask for more, and step out of mediocrity. Imagine a life filled with lots of energy, excitement, and filled with spunk instead of that funk. This is the Unfunk Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Crystal. Let's go!
Hey, girlfriends. I am so excited and pumped up to be with you again. I was walking around our neighborhood and noticed it's time for bulk trash pickup. Every so often, our county has this bulk trash pickup. It's like a chance to get rid of the bulk stuff that you no longer want in or around your house. And because these dates are publicly known, they're posted, it gives other people the opportunity to rummage through these things that people have set out and take what they want without paying for anything. It's neat, actually, because some people that need the items can come scan the streets to see if there's something they might need, while some people take the stuff, refurbish it, and then resell it. They give the trash new life, so to speak. And there are some nice things people put out at times. Some people put out couches they no longer want. I saw a basketball hoop recently that would be perfect for a kid's Christmas. Chairs for a dining room. And recently, I even saw one of those sandboxes that are in the shape of a turtle. You know what I'm talking about. These things have been around for ages. That turtle sandbox, though, it sparked a memory with me. I remember this park near my childhood home that my late brother and we went to a couple of times. There were a couple of sandboxes where different kids would be doing different things in the sand. Now, mind you, we didn't live anywhere close to the beach, which is probably why the fascination with the sandboxes. Anyway, some kids tried to build actual sandcastles. Other kids were just using the sand toys like the bucket and the shovel and pushing the sand around. Some kids would be playing duck, duck, goose in the sandbox, while others would just be playing with their actual toys they had brought from home. Like the boys were playing with their dump trucks or whatever other equipment they brought. There was something going on in every sandbox. You could sandbox hop and pretty much find an activity in at least one of the sandboxes that would interest you. And if you got bored or you got annoyed with your sandbox friends, then you could just jump over to the other sandbox, or better yet, you could just go hit up the playground. Even into adulthood, we still love to play and interact, don't we? But it is crucial to create your own space, your own sandbox, your own realm of possibilities. Let's dive into why building your own sandbox matters. Just jumping from sandbox to sandbox or sandbox hopping takes away your own imagination. It takes away your curiosity. It actually takes away from you living your life in full expression. You visiting one person's sandbox can put you right in their dramas. When you notice yourself visiting the sandbox often, you have allowed yourself to become immersed in their narrative. If you think you are visiting the sandbox too much, pause and reflect. Are you there to genuinely support and be a friend? Or have you succumbed to the allure of their story because, let's face it, it's more captivating than your current reality? Is it just another reality show you can't get enough of? When you're constantly in someone else's sandbox, you might be missing out on the opportunity to shape your own dreams. Building your own sandbox allows you to mind your own business in a way that focuses on what truly matters to you. Let's take a look at another sandbox. Are you staying too long in the person you deeply admire sandbox? Like a teacher, a mentor, or a boss? Their sand is comfortable, right? And their sand sparkles. You want that kind of sand in your sandbox. You sit in their sandbox, soak in every word they say, feel inspired by their profound quotes. In this sandbox, you are so motivated that you are sitting in the sandbox beating your chest because you feel like King Kong ready to take on the world. They have you so pumped up. And because you are so caught up in them, you don't leave their sandbox. You just sit in the sand and marinate in their words. And there's a funny thing about marinating, though. I learned this the hard way with $32 worth of filet mignon. Back when I was trying to impress my husband with my cooking skills, I bought this product to marinate the filet before I made the bruschettas with the filet. Well, the first time I made these bruschettas with that filet, my husband loved them. He specifically pointed out the flavor of the filet. So next time I made these, It popped into my mind to let the filet marinate longer to get more of that good flavor that he loved. Wah, wah, wah. Yep, it turned out like poop. It was so salty that you couldn't even eat it. This was when I learned that marinating too long is a thing. It's real. I'm not suggesting that you don't visit the Sandbox. You can certainly visit, but it's important that you don't just sit in it and marinate. Just like I couldn't revive the filet, you can't go back and get the same time you spent marinating in someone else's words instead of creating your own life and speaking with your own voice. What about the neighbor Sandbox? The one that has all the toys in it? This Sandbox keeps you distracted. You love this Sandbox because the toys keep coming. Remember when you were a kid and your friend got Nintendo and you just had to go over to their house and play? You would go to their house every chance you got. And when you both got bored of one game, another game would soon come out. And this cycle just repeated itself. Your mind wasn't on anything else other than getting over to that Sandbox to play with that new toy, that new game. This carries over into adulthood too. Like when your neighbor or your friend gets the new car, the new piece of jewelry, new clothes, new shoes, new furniture. All things new that keeps you coming over to check it out or swooning over their latest new toy. Of course you want to play in their Sandbox, but all their toys keep you distracted. And there's actually a double whammy in this Sandbox. You are not only distracted by all their new toys, but you can also become envious of their new toys because you want all those toys in your Sandbox. It's time to ask the question though. How are those toys going to find their way in your Sandbox if you're spending so much time in their Sandbox? Getting entrenched in someone else's Sandbox means you inadvertently become part of the world they're constructing. It's easy to overlook the fact that you hold the power to shape your own space, both in your mind and in your physical realm. The transformative magic, your transformation, lies in creating your own Sandbox. Constructing your Sandbox is akin to setting the stage for the life you genuinely crave. It's more than just a space. It's a canvas of your self-expression. This Sandbox becomes a resonance of your innermost desires and passions. Each tiny grain of sand starts to articulate your authentic self, turning it into a place that truly echoes your essence. Now you're asking me why this matters. Firstly, building your own Sandbox allows you to set boundaries. It's not about shutting people out, but about defining what you stand for and what you want to invite into your life. Now, I know you might be thinking, but what about connecting with others? Isn't life about sharing, connecting? Absolutely. That's where the beauty lies. Your Sandbox becomes a hub for collaboration. Rather than playing in everyone else's space, invite them into yours. It's about creating a space where your dreams align with others and together you build something incredible. Build your Sandbox, invite others to play, and watch the magic unfold. Because when you're focused on your own dreams, you become a beacon of inspiration for others. And you thought building your own Sandbox was a selfish thing to do. Remember, there's so many ways to look at things. Also, your Sandbox is a reflection of your dreams. Imagine it as a mini universe where your aspirations take center stage. It's a space where you get to be the architect of your desires. Unlike in those other Sandboxes, you are in action in your own Sandbox. You're crafting, creating, building your own life. But when you're Sandbox hopping, you are just in motion. There's a difference between being in action and being in motion. Sources distinguish the two by saying action requires courage and risk-taking, whereas motion involves just going along with the current of life without effort or contribution. Motion is Sandbox hopping. Action is Sandbox building. If you listen to this podcast, I know you desire action more than you do motion. You want progress toward the woman you are becoming. So how do you start building your own Sandbox? It begins with self-discovery. What truly makes you happy? What are your passions? What brings you joy? What lights you up, whether it's good or bad? Once you have a grasp on that, start laying the foundation. Pour in the granules of sand, or your values, your goals, and your aspirations. Pour those into your Sandbox. Create a sandbox that excites you and motivates you to keep building it. Remember, it's a process, not a one-time event. As you invest in your own sandbox, you'll find that your mindset shifts, your attitude shifts. You become less concerned with what's in other sandboxes and more focused on your own journey, what's in your sandbox. It's about moving forward, embracing your uniqueness, and unlocking the doors to a new chapter, a new journey. What are you waiting on? Extraordinary is waiting for you. Phenomenal is waiting on you. There is a next level you. What will make you step out of others' limiting sandboxes and build your own? Today and going forward, remind yourself that there is a shit ton of sand in the world, and it's just waiting for you to shape your own sandbox so that it can jump in. There are no rules in building or shaping this sandbox. You have the freedom to build it as vast as you desire. And God, the forces of the universe, whatever you believe, whatever higher power you believe in, will generously fill it with more than just sand. The sandbox is yours to design. Okay, ladies, time to shape our sandbox. Let's go.
If my mom can motivate me to build a sandbox, she can motivate you too. My mom is not a doctor or a psychologist, and this podcast is for motivational purposes only.
Before you go, Superwoman, I'd love it if you took a little action for me. Like subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. Also, share the episode with a friend. And as a thank you, hit up my website, unfunkyourmind.com. That's right, unfunkyourmind.com to grab free journal prompts. Okay, ladies, now is the time to go unfunk your mind. Play bigger and ask for more. Open the door to possibility and cancel playing small. So get up and go.